I'm like, and then you walk over to the 22, oh my God, it was like that boy that's saying to drive.
Yeah.
No,
And then of course for me being like in the like hearing the conversation but not in it is just like how I was perceiving it. I was just dying. That was too good. How's the foot been doing? Good. It's a good student. I said that's a good student. What did would have been a week and a half ago now? 2 weeks ago? When you saw the doc? No, when you saw the doc. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Fair. Okay. In a short period of time, yeah. Very much so. Yeah, that great toe, like our big toe extension, our ability to extend is so important. So who's your PT? Yeah. Okay. The one right over here on France and who was your doc that you saw for your foot? Who did the X-ray? McGarvey? Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, I mean the yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, if it's gonna help though, like good. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean it's slowly plugging away, you know. It's like it's one of those things that we would that we would love to have it be something that's like an overnight, but especially when we're like, okay, the toe is already fighting against you from the aspect of just trying to keep arthritis from not getting more progressive. But you're doing all the right things with that, not just from mobility stuff, but being exercising and all that. Great. Got it. Got it. Yeah. And that's half the battle sometimes, just kind of understanding like how to continue to go after it in the battle. Sure. Yeah. 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 Yep. Keep plugging through. Right. Yeah. We're not looking at like a pathological issue. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's the give and take of that, right? It's like I don't want to find out that there's something bad, but maybe I always want an answer kind of thing. Yeah. All right, 7 a.m. Good morning, welcome. We'll huddle it in a little bit more to the whiteboard. Come on in, come on in. All right. So today we have, as compared to the past couple of days, we have a little bit longer of a journey through our workout. Our past couple have been much more of a strict strength sets, going into a little bit quicker of that metabolic conditioning, that cardio piece. Today is the inverse, much more of going right from our warm-up into our marathon of a workout. It is a partner workout today, so we will be sharing reps more on that you go, I go scenario. But volume is to be a point where we want to make sure that we're breaking that up accordingly, because you are not meant to just be chipping off really long sets. Okay, so between you and your partner, as you're figuring out and looking at the volume after we get through the warm-up, making sure you're making a good decision for yourself to say, well, I'm really strong in blank motion, but I'm not as proficient in this motion. I might need to be taking more frequent rests, where we might be switching back and forth a little bit quicker than we would on something like like an air squat or something. Okay, but definitely planning on a little bit more of the longer grind, that kind of steady state zone 3 heart rate for a longer portion today, as compared to the past couple of days have been, all right, we kind of get spiked in our heart rate, but it's much shorter on time because we're really going after that strict strength. To get preps for our movements today, warm-up's going to go through some short distances into V-ups, burpees, box jumps, or step-ups, pull-ups, jump rope, and then again, back on our mode of cardio of choice. So let's just go through a couple of these motions. The V-up in itself, there's variations of this as prescribed. The V-up will begin on my back, fully long, and I'm coming up to there. That is a full V-up. Now I could go do what we call a tuck-up, which is knees bent, there to there. Totally fine. Or we can do versions of a sit-up, so I can just come here, something like that. Or if I don't even want to get any low back involved, I can also just do more of a leg lift, whether bent knee or again, straight leg. So again, plenty of variations. A lot of that comes down to your capacity and your tolerance. If you've got anything from, if it bothers your hips at all to do that, or bothers your low back to get into that fold, certainly feel free to modify. For the sake of everything else, again, we're warming up. So I don't want you to take these box jumps fast. And if anything, I would actually recommend start those as just step ups. Just go 5 aside. Pull-ups, just make sure you've got a spot on the rig. If you're planning on doing with the assistance bands, grab those bands right now, as well as grab your jump rope. So have those by you. So then we can go ahead and we can hop on our cardio of choice. 200 meters if you're running or rowing, 0.3 if you're on the bike. Go ahead, grab those pieces of equipment, and then we can start on our cardio of choice. $200 meters to begin. Nice and casual, nice and casual. A different bike? It's smooth. Going into our V-ups or our variation of after your cardio. Moving into burpees after those V-ups, nice and slow. Nice and slow. Right. Take this to the side. Jumps if you're feeling up to it, otherwise step up just fine. V-ups into burpees, burpees into box step-ups or jumps. Keep those nice and smooth, nice and slow. Hello. Good morning. Going from those box step-ups or box jumps into a pull-up of your choice or TRX rows just to get warmed up. And then we'll have a little bit of time with that jump rope. Says 10 seconds. I'd actually prefer to try to go for closer to 20 to 30. Try to accumulate somewhere around like 40-ish single unders. And after your jump ropes, we're back on for calories. Your mode of choice. Bike, runner, or rower. We're going to pause there. If you've already gone through your last calories, then yes, just pause at that moment. I'll flip the board. We'll talk about the movements before we actually get it started. We are. So if you want a replacement, we can talk about it. Yes. Yeah, the impact thing, yep. Sure, great. That's fine. I mean, so. Yeah. Yeah. I am okay with that. Yeah. From a conversion, basically, because it's a single unders. So I would take, if you're going to be on an assault bike, these calories will go quicker than the echo bikes. So I would take like that number. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's 500 single unders as a team. So you would, if you're doing 250, 250, I want you to then still take that number and half it for your calories. So you'd be going at 125 calories eventually accumulated, but you'd be going back and forth. It's not you're sitting there going for 125 calories. Right? Yeah. Well, no, sorry. No, it would be one, because if your partner's doing 250 jumps, you'd be doing 250, but because like one jump to get through 1 calorie, you'd probably be doing like 5 jumps per calorie, depending on just pacing. I think let's start with the idea of 100 calories, because you're gonna go back and forth from like Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I think that's a better thing to do. And if all of a sudden you get to that part and it's just like that's taking forever, then I know that I modified it incorrectly and we will just make a better decision after that. All right, so set up a pull-up station, keep a jump rope. Whiteboard is flipped, so our workout is present. Again, we are working as a team to accumulate reps. To take a look, we're going to talk a little bit of strategy. For the sake of how that warm-up just went, you already have all your equipment, so we don't need anything else unless we're modifying movements. So as you look at the board, for the sake of how I want you to do this, ideally, again, we are closing out a movement before moving on to the next. Starting at your meters, finishing that as a team, going into your jumps, going into your V-ups or your variation, going into your burpee, going into your pull-up or variation, going into your calories, and lastly, finishing off with your jump rope. If you want to go a different order, that's okay. But again, just remember you need to close out your movements before you can move on to the next thing. All right. Now with this, as prescribed, it is alternating every 10 through the middle chunk, every 200 meters through that top chunk, and every 50 jumps through that jump rope. But that is the ideal if you are feeling good today, if you're feeling up for all of those variations, and for your own, again, if you're modifying for the sake of pull-ups, if you're like, well, I can crank out a ton of TRX rows, let's just try to make TRX rows harder for the aspect of trying to get that same stimulus that 10 pull-ups would give someone if that was their preferred. Okay. So with that, again, 200 meters, if you're doing that on the rower, that's gonna be pretty quick. We're probably looking at around 1 minute substitutions off and on, off and on. You can both be sitting on the rower or you can both be standing on the runners, but it's only one person working at a time. All right. For the sake of our jumps, our V-up, same thing. One person is working, the other person is resting. Then you switch and it's alternating every single time. With the sake of our motions, how I would recommend if we're to modify, if you think 100 jumps is a lot, let's do step-ups. Just change that 1 for 1. V-ups, we already just tried that. Again, 90 V-ups as a team. That's some really good core work. If you feel like that's going to be hard, feel free to modify those V-ups. Pull-ups are going to be another one of your motions you might want to consider modifying or just making sure you have a good enough assistance. Do we have any questions on the volume or the movements? All feeling good there? Good. Good, good, good. If we're biking, our distance is slightly different for our biking. So you two are going 2.6 miles. All right. So it's just going to be tracked different. What was that? Say 0.3. Yes, you will be alternating 0.3. Yes. Yep. Say that again. Every 200 meters, ideally. You're switching on meters, not you're switching on meters, not distance. Yep. So just knowing how both of you can pull in your heights, you're probably gonna be finishing 200. I mean, most people can go around a minute of 250 split. So you're probably looking right around that minute-ish. Yeah. Yep. Yep. All right, y'all. Steady pace. Do not come out guns blazing. We've got a long workout. So pace yourself. And also know if you're starting to taper off, ask your partner to say, hey, we need to start switching a little bit quicker. Maybe it's not going to be every 10, maybe it's going to be every 5. All right, but have that discussion as you get there and as depending on how you're feeling. So we start with our cardio, 1 works, 1 rest, back and forth. You're either going 1,600 meters to begin or our bikers are going 2.6 miles. Here we go. All right, friends. Partner one, you're getting rolling in 10 seconds. Oh, hold on, sorry. Clock. That one's not set to it. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. Apologies. All right. Now we're ready to rock. Starting in 10. What? Did it feel high? I actually would. Oh. Give me a shot. Let me look at you while you're like. Good. Yeah, because ideally we have it in a situation where at the bottom position, you need somewhere around like 10 to 20 degrees still bent versus like locked out. So that looks pretty good. Honestly. Yeah. Okay. It is a long grind today. 0.3 every time. You got it. Save the transition time. I've got units for you if you need to. We're good. Body weight work today is I think intentional of all of the bigger movement weight in the past 2 days. You can do that. Yeah. Nice work, y'all. Just eclipsed that 5-minute mark. Moving from our distances into our rep schemes. Steady pacing. Break those up on the 10s or earlier if you feel like you need to. Nice work, y'all. We usually do with jump up. Okay. I usually get my quantification for that as well. I mean, so the aspect of that finishing is really just like a cardio piece because it's just a technique. I don't. So you could do one of two. You could do biking. You could do calf raises as well. I mean, like you could just stand and just hang out and do double leg calf raises. I think that because of the bounce and still using your calf, that's another good option if you're like, oh, I just don't want to hop back on the bike. Yeah. Sounds good. We got V-ups or a version of tuck-ups or sit-ups coming up next after those box jumps finish. "90 reps as a team, 90 reps. There you go, man. Nice job. Okay. I think leg raise would be fair. Yeah, the true intent behind this motion is to get that low core. So yeah. Nice work, y'all. Keep grinding it out. 11 minutes through. We're grinding out 80 burpees as a team after your V-ups. Steady pace, 10 each back and forth if you can maintain that. Otherwise, break them up earlier. Moving into our pull-up variation next, 70 pull-ups or variation of. If we can keep that every 10, great. Otherwise, again, pull-ups are something that go pretty quick. Plan to split those up a little bit quicker if you need to. 5s could be a good option as well. Great pacing, everyone. Good job. Keep it up. Teams are doing great. Halfway through that time right now. You got plenty. '70 as a team. Oh. '20 minutes down. Nice work, y'all. Keep it up. Here you go, Pat. Nice job. You done with those? Yeah. Moving into our calories next. Your mode of choice. Your mode of choice. Switching back and forth every 10 calories for a total of 60.
Yeah.
60 calories, 10 each, back and forth. Yeah. Oh, easy. 500 jumps back and forth. I mean, even if you're not jumping, yeah. I see all of you finishing this sub 30 minutes. Yeah. Jump rope to finish. Another option I was talking to Christy is you could do depending on how many cap rates you already do at the PT exercise, you can do that. Home stretch, final movement.
No. It's hard, like, when you have to try to get off, it's better, that one's way better.
250 per, switching back and forth on 50. So if you're doing cap races, I would say the volume again. Okay. Nice job. Yes. Great work. Great. My first thought. Maybe. From a timing, sure, yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty, I think that would, on that machine, I think that would be good time wise, yeah. Depending on how you want to time this out, you can always jump rope when they jump rope too, just to kind of like a on type thing, yeah.
I'm only doing 3 calories.
Yeah, that's okay. Just if you wanted any pacing type ideas, yeah. How'd it go? With the splitting up of, yes, it would be, yes. Yeah, to get to 250, yep. Thirty minutes through. 5 available, 5 minutes available.
All right.
Nice work. Good grind out. Nice work. Nice work. Nice work. Good job. Go, there we go. End is in sight. Good to know. You might be surprised. But because that'll help me. Guys, I'm glad you keep track of it because I will almost bet that someone in the 8 o'clock will ask. So that's good to know. Here we go. Yeah. Nice job, y'all. Great work. Christina, yes, Andrew, yeah. Okay. So it's probably a component of also just how you bike. You might be thinking too much of like pulling up versus it should be like a downstroke on that pedal. So you should always be thinking about like the foot that's pushing, right? So like I know that's hard when you're going fast, but most of the times when people feel it through the front, it's because they're trying to think, I'm trying to pull that hip up. So I mean, still to answer your question, my favorite thing to do is like a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So I'd be here, but make sure that you get like a pelvis tuck. So you're really trying to like if you're laying on your back, you're imprinting that low back on the floor. Then as you get that tuck, then it's a slight lean forward. It should create a pull to the front of that down leg. Sure. So that's a great one for the quad. Of course, you can be that front thigh, depending on if it's more of a, because the quad goes up here too, but depending on if it's more of a quad issue versus a hip flexor issue, that's where you're going to feel the difference. Like that one could feel really good if it was a quad thing, but if it wasn't a quad, like, yeah, right up in that space. Yeah. Make sure though, anytime you ever do this one, make sure you get that pelvic tuck. Because if you don't have that, like here's an example. Yeah, because like I can just go forever if I don't tuck, but if I tuck and then I lean, like as far as I can get is right here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the glute should feel like it's squeezing when you're in this position. Yeah. Yep. And then it's like you're doing it. Yeah. Yep. And then it's a translation of your body forward, not necessarily a trunk lean. Yeah, you're doing the right thing, but don't feel like it's a. Yeah. Because sometimes people will just like bring their body down and like that's not changing what your hips doing. Anywhere from basically anywhere from from above belt to below belt. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Nice job. Nice work, 7 a.m. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure to check in at the front if you did not. Otherwise, thanks for joining me this Wednesday.